12 Days of Beardsmas 2022, day number 10. Last day I'm going to be able to show you guys with my hands here, and you guys already know. We're going to announce yesterday's giveaway winner. Can I do like the artists that have shows, right? The musicians that are like, you sing, what's next? Yeah. We're going to launch today's giveaway, and then we're going to highlight a company, Beard Octane. This is Beef Octane's hat, which is owned by the same company, owned by the same owners, which we'll go over today, highlight the people behind the scenes, and we're going to give you your historical beard of the day, which we'll jump right into. But first, please hit that thumbs up for me on the video, and today we are going to cover, boom, Ulysses S Grant. Now, this is one that I was a little surprised I didn't cover. I think that I looked into him in the past and I was like, I don't know if there's enough here to do a video on, but I think I put everything together. And most of you know Grant as the Union General, the commanding general of the Civil War, or the US president. But I do believe I'm going to bring some information that maybe you didn't know before, or at least you'll find interesting and be able to be like, yeah, oh yeah, that's cool, that's cool. So starting off, let's go back early and then we'll come back to the war and the presidency and all that stuff. He was born in Ohio and his father was a tanner. He worked with leather, he had a leather store, and his dream was for his son to take over the family business and do the same thing. Well, against his father's wishes and kind of behind his father's back, he went to West Point. Kind of a big deal to do something behind your father's back, and West Point, still to this day, very difficult to get into. But he did get into West Point. He graduated about middle of his class, but interesting little tidbit to add on with West Point, right? We know him as Ulysses S Grant. That's not his real name, really, whatsoever. Ulysses is actually his middle name. His first name is Hiram. Now, how this came about, somebody that was applying to West Point for him, you have to get like recommendations and you have to have people sign for you and all this stuff. They put the name in wrong and West Point signed it and it had to stay. Now, the S, just a mistake. There is nothing about Ulysses S Grant. That's just completely made up. His middle name should be Ulysses, but it's just stuck, and that's what we know him as today. Kind of interesting. And then maybe even more interesting, his real birth name was selected out of a hat because his parents couldn't decide on names. His grandparents had different ideas. Everyone's always got the input. So what they did, they put it all into a hat, drew the name. That's the one that came out, and it's not even the one that stuck throughout history. Super interesting. So after graduating West Point, very average student, like I said, very middle of his class. I feel like oftentimes we do this videos, we're like, top of the class, this best way. He was like, no, he was just an average student. He joined the Mexican-American War, where he fought alongside future General Lee. Whew, little bit awkward there, but yeah, he fought alongside his nemesis later, that will come later in life. Once he gets out of this, the Civil War starts to spark up. He starts to work his way up the ranks of the Civil War, and he gets a little like unruly group that he whips into shape and wins big battles. He has the first big win for the North, and we could go battle by battle. We could go day by day and situation by situation and break it down, but that's not my thing. I like to talk about the person more so. So of course, he had these huge wins, these huge battles, but we're not really going to go over that. So the North wins the Civil War, and then a natural path from there, especially back then, was to the presidency. Well, this would have made him the youngest president of all time at this point, and it didn't stop him. He had no political experience, and it didn't stop him. So he becomes the president, and like any US president, there's controversy, there's things that are loved, there's things that are hated, and he had two things that stood out to me that were pretty interesting. The first one, he wanted to make Dominican Republic part of the United States. A lot of different reasons, military-wise, financial-wise, right, numbers-wise, when we're looking at states, but that was super interesting to me. I haven't really heard that. We know about Puerto Rico, we know about different territories, but the Dominican Republic was trying to be part of the United States back after the Civil War ended. And then another one, which kind of connects to yesterday's video a little bit, is he had an actual like Department of the Justice of the government that went after the newly formed KKK. He took a personal stand and wanted to end the KKK, and he had a big impact. Of course, not ending it, but he really went to battle against them and wanted to stick up for ending what he thought, and hopefully all of us can agree, was absolutely atrocious and terrible. So kudos to him for that. So he goes through the presidency, ups and downs, drama, controversy, you know the deal, especially back then, especially after Civil War time, especially being the general of the North. That's just going to come with the territory. After he retires from the presidency, he becomes a partner of a financial institution and it goes bankrupt. Ooh, not a lot of luck. Almost at the exact same time where his financial institute that he's a partner of goes bankrupt, he finds out that he has throat cancer. Now, he was not someone that took care of himself. He was a heavy drinker almost his entire adult life, had all these health problems that were starting to add up. And to make it worse, he was deeply in debt. Now, he was a good man. He did not want this debt to be carried on to his family, so he decides that he's going to partner up and write some memoirs. He's going to write a book, and it ended up getting finalized, I believe, by Mark Twain. And for this, he gets a deal that's worth near $500,000, but he has to complete the book before he dies. So now he's racing this clock. He's racing his health, and he's like, I got to finish this. He does finish the book, but literally within a couple of days of finishing his last page, he dies. Now, with the death, kind of freaky to think about this, he was actually supposed to be sitting right next to President Abraham Lincoln in the theater on the night of Lincoln's assassination. Now, this is something that stays with him and haunts him for a long time. He tells his wife, hey, we're going to go to the theater with Lincoln. His wife says, no, we have a trip planned to go to New Jersey to visit our children. He's like, oh man, sorry, Ray. He gets on the phone, calls him, texts him, just kidding. But he lets Lincoln know, hey, I can't make it tonight. Bummer. He hears about the assassination, and his exact quote was, this was the darkest day of his life. He knew that he had a target on his back, just like Lincoln did, but in his heart, he said he knew he could do something about it. He feels like if he was still there, Lincoln would have lived and not died that night, and I can't imagine the weight that was on you. But to not end on a super dark and sad note, he was a very accomplished and talented artist in many ways, from horseback riding to actually writing, right? Physically writing, and especially drawing. This is something that I don't hear get talked about or associated with Grant whatsoever, but even while he was at West Point, he really got into taking classes about drawing and was very talented at landscape, at animals, and just making beautiful drawings. You think about this man that was part of some of the bloodiest battles in the history of our country, and then sitting down to do some beautiful art, to write his memoirs, to reflect back on life. Man, really, really powerful stuff. So huge figure in U.S. history, and he rocks some facial hair. Whoo! Ulysses S. Grant. I hope you guys learned something today about this big United States president, general, and father, and son, all the above. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into Beard Octane. As I said on yesterday's video, for the rest of these videos, I want to highlight the owners behind the scenes. We have Joe and Heather. Both of them kind of lay back. Joe's been coming out a little bit more, doing live streams, making content online, but at the beginning, it was almost like it was a mystery, right? I connected with this company within the first month of their business, and it was oftentimes people thought Joe was fake. People thought he didn't real, that he wasn't real, that he wasn't an actual person, and then he started to bring his personality out there. Joe actually works a full-time job while running this company and doing so much of it as well. Kind of like the company yesterday, he does have a team. He's got somebody in the facility, shout out to Eric with an A, that's doing so many things from packaging orders to content to you name it. His wife left her job to really dedicate everything towards this company. He brings in his parents to fill orders. He brings in former company owners to work on logistics and help out with marketing. So many amazing things, you guys. They are amazing. I have actually been to their facility. I've been to their home. I go out there every year. Just good people. When you meet the parents and you just realize, like, man, raised right, great values, doing it the right way. If you want to support a company that is American-owned, that is working hard, that has their hands on every single aspect of what they do, Beard Octane is one you can get behind. And again, I can recommend them from the bottom of my heart, knowing who they are as people, knowing who they are as a company. Absolutely great stuff. But let's go ahead and announce yesterday's giveaway winner, the Beard Supplement from Fable Beard Co. Good luck, everybody. Boom! All you need to do, once again, is check that email that you signed up with. Fable will reach out and give you the instructions on how to claim or give the information, whatever their process is. But today, we are doing a $50 gift card from Beard Octane. How do you enter? Number 1, be subscribed. Number 2, click that link in the description or the pinned comment. And all you need to do is put your name and your email address. And then the last one. This is required. If I do that random generator, I check if you're subscribed, and then I go down and see if you comment. Give a comment that is positive, that something stands out to you about Beard Octane. Whether it was a personal experience or whether you've never tried them or heard of them, you take a look at their website, you take a look at maybe or listen to something I've said, and put that down below. If you've tried them, what was your favorite product? What was your favorite scent? What about the customer service? What about the content they put out? If you haven't, is it the labels? Is it the website? Is it something that they do? Take a second to take a little time to put your thought into this comment. I do appreciate it all, you guys. Thank you for watching. 2 more episodes, guys, for this year. Dan C. Bearded. Stay bearded and stay positive.